Hey computing students, it's Erin Gunsinger here, undergrad program assistant at the School of Computing at Queen's University. I got dressed up today even though I'm working from home, did my hair and makeup and all that stuff so that I can do a couple of videos for you to go over some of our frequently asked questions. We have a lot of questions usually coming in starting this time of year. Students are going into their plan selection. First year students are going into plan selection. Tons of questions starting this time of year, and it really ramps up towards the latter half of May. The last 2 weeks of May, you're going to find that your wait times for advising are going to be a little bit longer when you send us email via the advising inbox. I encourage students to please get in touch with us earlier rather than later so that we don't end up with kind of a bottleneck. If you know that there's a problem now, please reach out to us so that we can get back in touch with you in a more timely manner. It just helps to reduce some of that advising congestion that invariably happens closer to deadlines. This is going to be true of any time of the year. Please, 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 as soon as you know of the problem, please contact us rather than waiting until 2 days before a deadline. If you know that there's a problem, as soon as you know it, please reach out to us. The advising inbox is advising, ADVISING, at cs for computing science .queensu.ca. And please, please, please include your student number because otherwise we have to write back to you and say, what's your student number? This is going to be a series of videos that I'm going to be doing to just focus on, some of these frequently asked questions that students come to us with. Because, I can send everybody an email, but I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions in the FAQ. I will put chapters in the video, and I'll put the chapter links below so that you can read the question and just click that and it'll go right to the question that you're looking for. Hopefully it will answer what your question is. And so here we go. Okay, so why don't we start with plan selection? That seems to be the main thing that's on everybody's mind right now. So, okay, I wrote down a few questions here. What is plan selection? And what is the difference between plan selection and plan change? Basically, plan selection is what happens when you go from first year into second. When you're coming in first year, even though you applied to get into computing, you're not officially in a plan. You're an undeclared first year student. So what you're going to do going into your second year is you're actually going to select the plan that you want to be in. First year lets you take whatever you want to take to try a few things, and then from there you're going to take time to select what you really want to focus on. It's fine because everybody does basically the same thing in their first year. All of the courses that you're going to take are virtually the same for all of our plans. Let me see, hang on here. You're going to in order to do, what is plan selection? What even is it? Okay. You ever had one of those moments you just like, okay. So you're a first year student. You're going into second year. What does that mean? Plan selection is when you're actually picking your plan, when you're going from first year into second. And what's the difference between plan selection and plan change? Plan selection and plan change. First year to second year is plan selection. Second year and up is plan change because you're going to be already in a plan. If you're already in a plan, you're going to choose to do a plan change. If you haven't selected a plan yet, it's plan selection. Clear as mud. I should probably elaborate on that just a little bit. All of these are done in Solus, but plan selection is going to be one thing, and then there's a plan change portal. This year it starts, I believe, May 21st, and it goes to like June 7th, I believe. That's going to be the window where you're going to do plan change requests. Question number 2. When do I need to do plan selection? You have to do plan selection if you have 24 units or more. So that's the equivalent of taking and passing 4 courses per term in fall and winter. Once you have 24 units, you have to select a plan. If you don't select a plan, you won't be able to actually enroll in courses. You won't be able to enroll in courses. Really, really, really important. You have to do plan selection once you have 24 units. If you get to plan selection this year and you don't have 24 units, it means that you get to stay, if you qualify to get into computing, which means you have a B in either CISC 124 or 121, and you have a 2.6 GPA, If you qualify for those two things, you can qualify to get into a plan, and you should. You should go ahead and select the plan that you want while you are eligible, because you never know what's going to happen. You're always going to have the grade for 121 and 124, but anything could happen to your GPA in your second year. You just don't know. If you qualify for it, if you can do plan selection this year and you can get into computing, do it. Go ahead and do it. If you have fewer than 24 units and you don't qualify to get into computing automatically, you do not have to participate in plan selection. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to make sure we covered as well. Every year we end up with a few students who did not participate in plan selection when they needed to. Even if you qualify to get into computing automatically, you have to participate in plan selection. It doesn't happen. Nothing is automatic. You have to go in and actually do the thing. There's no default plan that it will put you into. You have to actually go in and participate and do that before the deadline. And when is the deadline? Hang on for a second. Okay, I found it. So if you go to the Queen's main webpage, go to the search bar, type in plan selection. First link should be the arts and science plan selection info page. It's got a ton of information on there. Everybody should go and visit it if you're doing plan selection this year. It's going in 2 stages this year. So stage 1 is going to be for those doing specializations. That is running from May 21st to 27th. And then the second stage is going to run after that from June 2nd to 9th. And that's going to be for majors and minors. I am probably forgetting something in there, but I'll be whatever. That's what the advising inbox is for. If you don't get the answers here, you can always send us an email, and we'll get back to your questions there too. So next question. If you have fewer than 24 units and you don't qualify to get into computing automatically, you do not have to participate in plan selection this year. What happens is you end up still in first year. You have a first year status. You can continue taking your second year courses, and then when you come back around to next spring, then you're going to do your initial plan selection. Hopefully you'll have the right marks for CISC 121 and 124, and you'll have a tall enough GPA to take that ride. Where's my cursor? Okay, so this is another big one here. A lot of students are not going to qualify to get into computing automatically. This is just reality. This happens a lot. But we still have a plan B. You still have to make a plan selection. You have to pick something for which you qualify. Something. Anything. As long as you're in a plan. Like I said, you have to have a plan in order to do your course selection in July. You also have the option of requesting to get into computing via our pending list. We are trying to prioritize our first year students because they had the first crack at it, but we also have plan change students who are going to be applying as well. Getting in via the pending list, it's a competitive process. So the only way that you're going to get in automatically is from first year going into second, or that initial plan selection. That's the only time that you'll be guaranteed to get in based on your qualifications. Anytime thereafter, even if you meet those original qualifications, it's still a competitive process. This is why we urge everybody to really, really focus on your academics in your first year, because it's that important. I'm going to go to the next question. Okay, this is another one too. Are there any exceptions? No. We have to use the process that we've got for fairness. I know that there are going to be exceptions. There are going to be cases where there were exceptional circumstances. In cases where you've had, for example, an illness, an injury, there's been a death in the family, there's been some kind of extenuating circumstance that interrupted your studies to a significant degree. That would be something that I would suggest you write to us about while you're doing plan selection. You could send us an email at the advising inbox. That is our ticketing system, and it reaches everybody on the advising team. We will take that into consideration when we are looking at the pending list. These are things that we will make note of when we see this pop up in the inbox. Part of my job is to correlate some of these emails to your record. We do try to make sure that everything is done as holistically as we can. So, big question. This is one that we get all the time. What are my chances of getting in via the pending list? This is going to be the same answer whether it's for plan change or plan selection. There is no way for us to actually give you a number. There are so many variables. It's going to depend on how many people got into computing automatically. That determines how much space we have left in the program. How many people are requesting to get into computing, and where you fall on that list of all of these students, and how your qualifications are going to compare with theirs. We sort it primarily by GPA. Again, we're going to take some other things into consideration, extenuating circumstances, things like that, but primarily that is going to be the sort order. So how can I improve my chances of getting in through plan selection, through the pending list? Like, that's going from first year into second. At this point, there's not much you can do. It's going to be whatever it is, because you're basically, you've finished both terms and your grades are going to be what they are. The only recourse that you might have is if you have assignments that you think were not graded appropriately, you feel that you deserved a better mark, you should go back to your prof and ask them to please revisit that, discuss that with them, and see if that could potentially improve your mark. Students are often asking, what about taking courses in the summer? Will that help? Not during plan selection. When SOLAS is looking at your record, it's only going to look at your current GPA as a snapshot as of that moment. That's it. It's not going to take into account that you're taking a course that could potentially override a mark that you'd had in the past that was not so great. It's going to be kind of whatever it is, and your recourse after that is to try to get into computing via the pending list. So how can I improve my chances of getting into computing next spring when I submit a plan change request? This is a good question. Basically, what you're going to want to do to put yourself in the best position to be accepted, if you've got the upcoming academic year to work on stuff, that's what you're going to do. You're going to take this upcoming academic year and you're going to retake any courses that you bombed to bump up your GPA. And you're also going to take the second year courses that you are qualified to take towards the degree that you want. When you do that, that's really going to help your case. Part of my job is to go in and pull up transcripts for all of the students that show up on that list. I find their GPA and I put that in there. I find what their grades are in 121 and 124, what courses you've taken in your second year, and what your grades are in those. So this is really important. If you have extenuating circumstances, this is also where I'm going to put that note. You may have had things that have happened over the course of the term that were just beyond your control. That's where I'm going to be making note of that. So all of these factors come into play when we're making selections from our pending lists. So we sometimes get the question, I really struggled in my last academic year. How can I make my next year better? Especially in your first year. Guys, I know it is a huge transition for a lot of you, maybe most of you. This might be the first time you have lived away from home. So you've got a whole new world of things that you are dealing with, which are big enough on their own. The social aspect, dealing with paying rent and utilities and all of the fun of taking out the trash, as part of being on your own. These are the realities, right? It's a big change. And then we're going to throw in your academics on top of that, right? And all of our deadlines and all of the things that we ask of you. It's a lot, and we get it. We really do understand. So we still have to maintain all of our systems as they are, but we do get it. So we want you to understand, if you're struggling with any of that stuff, if you're struggling and you're finding it's really affecting your academics, please come and see us. Our door's open. I'm working from home today, but most of the time I am sitting at my desk in my office on the 5th floor of Goodwin Hall. So if you happen to be by, hey, stop in and just say hello. We're there most of the time, so please drop in. We have a ton of resources that we can refer you to. Student wellness is one of the main ones, and that's sort of a hub of care for our students. If you find that you're really, really having a serious immediate problem, we can also refer you to care services, and that's where someone will reach out to you directly in maybe a more focused way to help you with the situation that you're in. this may go above and beyond just academics. COMSA is another great thing, great contact to have in your list. COMSA is your Undergraduate Computing Student Association. They're the ones that you may have met who did orientation. They have year reps for your year. There's peer tutoring services that are going to be available. They really work to make computing an inclusive community. So they really are going to want to reach out to you. Another thing that we probably want to note is Student Academic Success Services, which is SAS. We'll make all the links for these various resources available in the description below. Student Academic Success Services is basically the hub for students who may be struggling academically. It basically is a support to teach you how to learn. It helps with study skills, time management skills, project management, writing skills. They offer workshops, academic advising. Definitely something you want to look into if you're finding your academics particularly challenging. Okay guys, I think that's probably it for me for this particular, for this video. Hoping you found this useful. Like I said, if anybody wants to drop in and chat with us, either Karen Knight or I are going to be in our offices on the 5th floor of Goodwin Hall. Right when you get off the elevator and you go through the double doors on your left, we're just down the north hallway, just right there. Names are on the doors. If you see the door open, just pop in and say hello. We'll be right there to help you with anything that you need. So hopefully we'll see you in the next video. And until then, take care of yourselves.